What's going on, people? It's your boy Tony Guns, Tony G, back at y'all with another one. Today's order of business is and always is, the first order of business is and always is building leaders and creating kings operation by building a national development over generations. I'm gonna jump right into it today, make it as short as possible, but as comprehensive as possible. What I do want to talk about is understanding the fact that to be treated like kings, today's order of business is to be treated like a king, you must act as such. Be royal in your own fashion. Let me say it again. To be treated like a king, you must act as such. Be royal in your own fashion. Oftentimes when talking to younger guys, when I'm having conversations with some of the younger guys that I mentor, or some of my kids that I coach, I try to explain to them and get them to understand what it is, one, to be a king. When I talk to them, I talk to them as if they're already young kings, if they're already warrior kings. You understand what I'm saying? Because the more and more that you're told that that's what you are, you start to assume that responsibility, you start to assume that identity. The more and more somebody tell you that you're never going to be nothing, sometimes you start to feel like that maybe this is who I am, just nothing. So then I try to constantly put in their minds that you are something, one, that you are a king. And to be treated like a king, you must act as such. But how do you start that off, and what does that actually look like? Well, the first way of starting that off is understanding that you are somebody. How do you know that you are somebody? You know you are somebody by the simple fact that you are living, you have air to breathe. As long as you have air to breathe, you have a purpose. Now, who you are and what that purpose is on us to define that for ourselves. You cannot allow society to define who we are, what we are, or to box us in these small spectrum or spaces or forms as if to say, this is all that you have to offer, this is all that the world has to offer you, and this is all that you have to choose from. This is all that you have to offer the world based on what we are giving you, these certain options that we are giving you. That when it comes to options, we have to expand our horizons, that we are able to explore multiple and many options, because if we stay in those small confined spaces, then our options are going to be limited, and our options are going to be limited, then our success is going to be limited, and that ain't what we're going for. King shit only. You get what I'm saying? You have to define yourself. Define yourself. And then reimagine yourself as something else, and then redefine yourself. Constantly. You are constantly redefining who you are and what you are. It don't matter how old you get and what you grow into and the life that you've led up into this point or that point, and whether you can get out of it. Sometimes we put ourselves in a deep enough hole that it's hard for us to get out. But every time we crawled out of those different holes, it made us stronger. Our legs became stronger. Our shoulders and our grip became stronger, because we are constantly crawling out of holes that we've dug for ourselves. So that in and of itself, that adversity that we are faced with in and of itself is an exercise for us to be greater. An exercise that we do on a regular, a challenge that we set in our own lives, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes consciously, sometimes not even knowing that this is going to be to the greater benefit of not only myself, but to my people. We those reps that we get in from that hard life and that harsh life that we led, and some of it that we put ourselves into, is what's going to build that muscle, going to build that callus, will make us stronger, having to deal with the day-to-day functions that we have to deal with, that we're going to be faced with as we continue to grow in adulthood, as we continue to grow in manhood. You get what I'm saying? And so with all of that being said, again, who are you? Who do you identify with? See, and one thing about that is we have to realize and truly take into consideration some of the people that we look to. Before asking yourself, who are you? Think about the individual that you admire. Yeah. Think about the individual that you admire, because admiration, even though we may not pay attention to it, admiration leads to imitation. I just said something. Fellas. Admiration oftentimes leads to imitation. We do it unconsciously. Some of those people that we admire, some of the things that we admire in individuals and places and people that we come in contact with, we in turn end up imitating those same things. You know it because you had a father that you then grew up with and grew up around, and you wanted to be just like your dad. You want to be strong like your dad. You want to be able to fix things like your dad, like your grandfather, like your uncle. You want to, like your grandmother, your mother, your sisters, your brother, whoever it is that you admire. When you were younger, you had absolutely no problem with trying to walk in those steps, wanting to do what they did. You have older siblings. As a youngest, I'm the oldest, but I had older cousins and things of that nature. Even down to my younger siblings. There's certain things that they have, certain things that they had that I don't have, certain qualities that they have that I don't have, that I admired and I imitated. Let me give you one. My sister. Obviously, she's younger than me. I'm the oldest. My sister was younger than me. When I say this little girl was fearless, when I say this little girl when we was growing up was fearless, I mean it in every sense of the word. Fearless. I'm gonna give a funny, quick little something real quick to get y'all to understand. So we were playing in the backyard. We were playing in the alley one day in a neighborhood we was living in up the village. We playing in the alley, and our ball went into a yard where it had this little mean. It was small. It was a small dog. Small, but it was mean. I'm talking so mean. The dog would come up to the fence and grab the fence. Like it would come up and grab it, like really wanted to bite you. It would come up and grab the fence. So, you know me, we gotta get that ball. I'm the plot strategist. So I'm gonna get my ball. So the ball went over the first time. It actually went over twice that same day. The ball went over the first time. So I run in the house, go get some lunch meat. I run in the house, go get some lunch meat. So while I'm in the house getting lunch meat, I in turn have some of the friends and family members that I was playing with go to the edge of the gate. The dog, even feeding them the lunch meat, was still evil. I'm talking, it was the spawn of Satan. I had them on one corner, far corner of that yard, feeding the dog lunch meat. While I went in the neighbor's yard around, jumped down, got the ball, and hurried up and ran out of the yard. He almost caught me because he caught on that something was going on, and he ran, and he almost caught me. And then I'm saying, and everybody, you know, we got it. Everybody was happy. But then it happened again. We stood in the same area. The ball go over the yard again. Same as that yard. I already know it, bro. Said, no more, I'm ready to go in the house. I go in the house. Well, I'm on my way in the house to go get the lunch meat. And I hear my friends and family saying, no. They're yelling, no. And what had happened was my little sister, she's about 5 or 6 years old. She decides to hell with this dog. Fuck him, he little anyway. She climbs over the fence into the yard with the dog, grabbing at the gate, and jumped down into the yard. I like to lost my mind because I'm watching my sister. You know, I'm supposed to be in charge. I'm the older one. I'm supposed to be in charge. How did I allow her to go into this yard where this dog is going to tear my sister to pieces? Now I got to ask until my mother and my father asked me, well, especially my father, how the fuck did I allow that to happen to my sister? You was out there watching. You was responsible. So instead of going to get the food, I ran back out. And now I'm getting ready to jump in the yard. By mine, forget that dog now. I got to jump in the yard to get my sister. Before I was even able to, she jumped into the yard, walked straight to the ball. The dog didn't even come remotely close to her. As a matter of fact, she gave a battle cry and made the dog go up on the porch. The dog barked from the porch. She threw the ball over the fence and proceeded to climb up the fence. And as she climbed higher and higher up the fence, that's when that dog approached more and more with his aggression. We have been terrified of this dog for years. We, meaning my friends and family members. My sister decided one day that I'm enough is enough. I ain't keep running. We ain't keep feeding. I guess we ain't keep feeding this dog our lunch meat. And she went over that fence. But the moral to that story is, I admired her for that fearlessness. But it also brought about fearlessness in me because it was a call of duty. When I seen that my sister went in there, all that fear went out of the door. Now, I'm going inside of here to face that fear, to go and get my sister. The only thing about that is I didn't have to, because she jumped in and out and was unscathed with absolutely no problem. I admired her. I admired her for that. So from then on, I made a conscious decision to approach things that I had to deal with, things that I feared in life with that same tenacity, that same tenaciousness and audacity that she had. I made my business with any fear that I had to approach it from that manner. I'm jumping in. Now that doesn't mean now I want y'all to take that with prudent circumspection. That don't mean that if you know you can't swim, go jump out the deep end. That's not what I'm saying. Your foolish ass go do that, you liable to die. You get what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. What I am telling you to do is to challenge those things that you fear, and to bring it back to my original point is, we often imitate those things and those people that we admire. From then, that was an imitation that has never been taken away from me since. That has forever changed my life. I don't know if I even ever told my sister that. She was 6 years old. I'm 12 or 13 years old. She changed my life forever in that one moment. And I have not turned or backed down since then from anything that I've feared. Ever since then, I've challenged I took every fear and challenge head on. And I'm talking, I done been some things I was scared of. But I imitated my sister. So I say all that to say, we have to put those or place those individuals in front of us that we truly admire for whatever the reason. Hopefully it's for something positive, but individuals that we truly admire, because those are the individuals that we in turn imitate and become most like. So, but then you got to work hard enough to become that individual that individuals admire. You do that by being, one, reliable. Somebody that individual can count on. Somebody that individual can count on, that they know that if I go to this person, that he's going to get it done. Be a man of honor. If I come to him, I know he's going to get it done. If he give me his word, I know he's going to stand on that word. I know he's going to stand on. That's another thing. We got to get away from all these lies that we tell on a regular basis. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. People live an entire life telling lies and are comfortable with it. But they really lying to themselves with the fact that they are comfortable with it. You aren't comfortable with it. As a matter of fact, everybody hates a liar. Nobody likes it. And sometimes, granted, there are situations where the lie is better for circumstance. And that's circumstantial. I don't even have time to talk about or speak on it. I've spoken on it on posts before. If you need to, go look at some of my old posts. You want my old posts? Go buy my, what Jay-Z said, you want old Jay-Z, go buy my old album, something along that line, but stay the course. We gotta make sure that we do the things that we need to do in order for us to be relied upon, in order for individuals to truly take in the things that we do on a regular basis and add that to who they are. And I think I lost track of what I was saying originally, but back to the original point, and what I mean is being somebody that you can be relied upon. Adopting responsibility. Be the man that individuals come to you to make sure that you're going to stand on your word. And like I was saying, in terms of being a liar, don't be a liar. Everyone hates the liar. Everyone hates the liar. They claim they don't. Some people, they like to be lied to, but they hate the liar. I've never met a man or a woman with children that love when their children lie to them. Every time a child has lied to a parent, and I had the privilege of seeing whatever it was and how things transpired with regard to the parent and the child, it was always almost a disdain and a feel of disrespect and dishonor from that child to the parent whenever that child lied to the parent. And the reason for that is because we don't like to be lied to, but oftentimes we are the perpetrators that are teaching our kids to lie by constantly telling those white lies, constantly telling our kids things like Santa Claus is the one that's bringing gifts down our chimney. Half of us was living in apartments. Where the fuck chimney was Santa Claus bringing a gift down to? I ain't telling my kids that. Now, I'm not going in there at Christmas at 1 and 2 years old. You can believe in magic. But you got to know in the next couple years, that Santa Claus myth is over with. Because I worked too goddamn hard to give all my money that I'm putting out. I'm going to give this fat white guy my credit. This fat white guy with a beard, my credit, talking about this fat guy coming down the chimney. You can get the fuck out of here. Excuse me. Excuse me. No, daddy did that. Mommy did that. Yeah, I was Santa Claus. I did that. No, not the fat white guy with the beard. No, that tattooed guy with the beard and the lower, yeah, half a muscle. Yeah, that's Santa Claus. He don't got no hat with the ball on the end, but he do wear a kufi. He do wear a kufi every once in a blue. Or he do wear, baseball cap, some other hat. It ain't Santa Claus hat. That wear a skull cap. Yeah, but he ain't doing all that old. Yeah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Give credit. Yeah, daddy did it. Mommy did it. Family helped out and got those toys. It wasn't Santa Claus. But it's those small lies that we tell our kids, and those are what you call white lies. Small white lies that we tell our kids and things of that nature, but in turn, it's certain things that we do in our actions that we may say yay, 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 and our actions are truly saying no and nay. And those are also ways that we teach our kids a lot, but we're not going to harp on that so much. The next point that I want to bring up and to try to speed through things is standing on the morals and principles and making that your foundation. Establishing morals and principles after you establish who you are. Self, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom is the most important thing that we could ever acquire. It's the most important thing that we could ever acquire. School is the most important thing that we could ever acquire. School, S-K-U-W. Not school, school. S-K-U-W. Self, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Cool. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. We have to acquire that. It's an imperative for us to be successful in our endeavors. It's imperative in order for us to truly be the men that we are called on to be by the individuals that rely on us. We gotta step into that role. Oftentimes we don't think high enough of ourselves, and it's evident in the way that the manner in which we carry ourselves. A wise person told us I was watching something, and a wise guy was telling me or suggest that what do you say? Treat yourself as if you are someone that you love. You have to treat yourself as if you are someone that you love. We beat our bodies to death. We beat our insides to death with whatever drug of choice, whether it's the alcohol, different drugs like pills and I don't know everything, all the drugs and things of that nature, but all the shit, all the stuff that we do, that we kill out, that we overindulge in. Now, I like to drink, I ain't gonna lie to you. But you gotta cleanse yourself every once in a blue. You got to cleanse and revitalize yourself. Give your body and your mind and things of that nature some time to rejuvenate. Some time to rejuvenate and recover. That's important and that's imperative in terms of our success. Then the bigger thing beyond that determines a lot of our success is the company we keep. Oh shit, that's a big one. The company you keep. You gotta really keep a keen, sharp, hawk eye on the individual that you are around. On the individual that you are around. I know we've heard it say it all the time in terms of if you are the smartest person in your group, then that group can no longer take you where you need to go. That group no longer serves you. That group no longer serves a purpose for you if you are the smartest man in your group. You ought to find another group. The same could be said about any organization that you're in. Whether working, whether you have your own business or you're working for somebody, you work for a large company, you work for a small company. No matter what it is or what you're into, if you are the top dog in that group and they can no longer bring anything of great value to you that elevates you, then your time there has sadly come to an end. And I won't even say sadly. Your time there should come to an end, but oftentimes we rather deal with the devil we know than the devil we don't. So we stay stuck in these positions, these positions that's not really taking us anywhere, or that's not really taking us any further. And sometimes people get comfortable in these positions, and that's fine. I'm not telling you to elevate. I can't tell you to elevate, but what I am going to tell you is to elevate. I just said I wasn't, but I am going to tell you to elevate if that's what you want. Now, if you cool with, just stand at your McDonald's position, and turning over the fries and if you cool with that, then my God, by all means, go ahead and do your thing because we need you. Those of us that like McDonald's, I ain't really that big on that type of stuff, but the ones that do like it, yeah, they need somebody there to do it. But if you see something more for you, something more for your family, then the only way to go is to challenge yourself. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And the best way to do it is by changing your environment and the people within. And the people within. Another thing the wise man said, you can oftentimes your net worth will reflect your net worth. I'm sorry, I said that, I messed that up. Your net worth will oftentimes reflect your network. Your net worth will oftentimes reflect your network. The network, the people that you align yourself with. That's how them papers start looking. You put yourself with some real, some bosses. You gonna boss up. You ain't gonna have no choice but to boss up. It's certain things that they do, certain way that they move and maneuver in the world that you ain't gonna have no choice but to pick up on. It's certain way that they certain conversations that they have that the individuals that's on the lower end don't really have those conversations. It's certain topics that they deal with on a regular basis that individuals on the lower end don't really talk about. It's certain avenues and certain doors that open to them that are locked to you because you're not in that position. But you can get in that position as long as you are around those individuals. You may not have the keys to that door, but one thing about it, if you're around those individuals, they got the key. You can walk behind them into that door. I just said something. You can walk in right behind them, and next thing you know, they trust you with those keys. And now you got the keys to those doors. Now you got the keys to those windows. Now you got the keys to those rooms. Now you got to sit at those tables. And you ain't got to always want to sit at those tables. But in the same sense, if you choose to go somewhere, why not? Your net worth is a reflection of your network. Who you talking to, who you dealing with. But you got to find out who you are. You got to figure yourself out first. To be treated like a king, you must act as such. And that's man shit. To be treated like a king, you must act as such. Who are you? Self-knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That's key. That's key. What are you? What you stand on? That's key. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. Carl Jung said, modern man can't see God because he don't look low enough. God damn, what? What I say? Well, I ain't said, Carl Jung said. He said, modern man can't see God because he don't look low enough. Now I know some of that religious buffs, they gonna look at me like, oh, pipe down. You're going a little too far now. Some of our religious buffs, deeply religious, they say, oh, pipe down. You ain't God. But listen, it ain't about being God. But the problem with Carl Jung is suggesting, what he's proposing with that is, we fail to see the gods in us. Find that God in you. Yeah, every time things get hard, we say, God, can you do this? God, can you give me, lend me, and let me have this? God, can you move this? God, can you do that? Yeah, when you going to look into you, though? When you going to assume responsibility for the things that you got going on in your life and really figure out. Yeah, now I would suggest, if you believe in God, that you ask God to order your steps, to help order your steps. But understand that in God ordering your steps, you have to interpret those steps that you got. And you have to approach those steps with an understanding that, okay, this is obviously something that needs to be done. It's a lesson that needs to be learned, a task that I must embark on, an endeavor that I must embark on. And in order for me to be successful on that, the first thing I got to do is take the steps. Have the nerve, the audacity, and the tenacity to face whatever that challenge is. And I pray that God order those steps. I pray that God keep me. Now I ain't gonna talk y'all heads off. Building leaders and creating kings. Black Ops Bang Dog TV. Hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And remember, we always live strong or die weak. Do man shit. Ain't no pressure. Ain't no pressure. We doing man shit. I'ma holler at y'all.